declared personas non grata, not only me, but the Secretary General himself, without ever bearing consequence. Israel has never been held to the same standard as most of the members of the international community. Israel has defied countless General Assembly, Security Council resolutions, International Court of Justice advisory opinion, and has targeted UN personnel and facilities, and also declared personas non grata, not only me, but the Secretary General himself, without ever bearing consequences. There are never sanctions on Israel. Judicial processes are either ignored or circumvented, and trade continues, and diplomatic ties remain intact. Member states seem to be paralyzed, awestruck, many of them still normalizing the occupation, the repression of the Palestinian people, depicting their resistance in the territory that Israel occupies as terrorism, or at best as a tantrum of an unruly population incapable of abiding in silence to what the international community has decided as its fate. It is unconscionable to me that for many in the United Nations, Palestine continues to represent an issue to be negotiated, where the Palestinians have to accept sooner or later the status quo, their fight to self-determination reduced to a humanitarian crisis, and accept quietly the loss of their land, their failure to confront the imperialistic force of settler colonialism. As a human rights expert and as a human being, I have to stand against this. And amidst all of this structural injustice, I want to conclude with three main messages to ensure justice accountability. First, the halting of any direct or indirect arms transfer to Israel. Second, the revision of Israel credentials to be part of the United Nations to show that impunity will no longer be tolerated in this situation if it wants to fulfill its mission to preserve the security and peace for all. And third and last, resolving once and for all the question of Palestine in line with international law means three things: end the genocide now, end the occupation by September next year, because this is the deadline that the General Assembly has given Israel to comply with the International Court of Justice advisory opinion, which has ordered this year that Israel dismantles the occupation, the settlement, and the control over natural resources, totally and unconditionally, no exception. This means starting to realize the right of self-determination of the Palestinian people. Four, we need to understand and embrace once and for all that this is not a conflict. Conflict as a term is a misnomer here, because there is a settler colonial framework at play when we talk of Palestine. And I'm not using this language as an ideological slogan, but as a framework capable of accurately describing the reality in the occupied Palestinian territory that is becoming more and more catastrophic as the time passes.